to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, roll call of directors. Director Garcia.
Absent.
Absent. Director Nyman.
Here.
Director Schonberg.
Here.
Director Gibson.
Here.
And Director Kelling is here. So 4 out of 5. Got a quorum. Good, good, good. Discussion, do we need to adjust the agenda any? Director Schomburg, do we need to?
Not that I really saw, no.
Okay, thank you. Public comments. We have no public tonight, so I guess there's no comments. Report of officers. President, I have nothing. Vice President.
I have nothing.
Secretary.
I went with Director Nyman, Treasurer, to the bank. We changed the accounts as requested, turned in the resolution, but the account names were really goofed up. So we made sure that those were altered.
So we'll see if they're right when
I
we get
stayed to check something.
Yeah, you stayed a little later. I don't remember what.
We were checking, I think, I don't know, something on the account and on the safe deposit box, and then Sherry brought up the water, but we resolved that. So yeah, so we did at least that one part of what we've been requested to do. That's it.
Okay. And Treasurer.
Same report. We also, well, we did that last month. We did the transfer of the money to the new account.
Yeah,
we did the transfer. We did
the
transfer of the 45,000 or 46,000 into the emergency reserve fund, and then also Lisa got me set up again with my sign on and stuff. So
yeah, we double checked all the people that and deleted. I had closed some accounts, but I didn't know how to delete them. We figured out how to delete them.
And we deleted off all the old people and
so people who shouldn't have been
and
there
the people
at all.
who were dead and
really like Barbara and stuff that I had closed her ability to access it, but I wasn't able to delete it. But now it's gone.
Good.
And I had 2 accounts for Cassandra because one of them we
Didn't
could
work,
just
yeah.
like I had to do the same thing for Director Nyman, and we couldn't get it to work correctly until we started a whole new account and then changed everything, and he had to put in new security questions, which is the same thing she had to do. So anyway, the secondary accounts that I hadn't been able to delete are now deleted too. So, and we left me as the admin for it.
yeah, and we left her as the admin.
Good. Perfect.
Okay. And member at large?
Is it large?
Is at large.
It's not feeling well.
Board member initiatives.
I don't have anything.
Anybody? Manager's report.
Okay, apparently when I wasn't here, Carlos had brought up the annual fee reduction for the state.
Yeah.
I'd already been working on that prior to that, but I had to get some more documentation. So I did touch base with Carlos again to try to get, they wanted proof that we were in a disadvantaged community to me.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately what I did was I went on the state's website and printed their map where it shows the disadvantaged community and then submitted it to them. They already sent me an email and said that it's been approved, but it won't be official until we get the letter. That could take a few weeks. If we've already paid our fee, we'd be getting a refund or a credit. And so they've already changed the code though in their billing computer for being a disadvantaged community is what it's gonna go
Cool.
down, so that's positive.
That's
Um,
I
very
don't
good.
think, I don't have a manager's report for some reason.
That's it there. Here's another one. We got the test meters installed in my house, the 4 test meters, all in line. So the test has begun to see how they work and what's, you know, the most accurate
Oh,
and
it's way over there.
all that. If we get any freeze, which is what I want, you know, hopefully it'll freeze, but, we're not getting any of that.
No,
We worked some more on the mainline extension on the road out here. We're down to the oak tree, and so that's good. We had only one after our call out, which was the only mainline repair that we had last month. And replacement, and all your in your free time and all that kind of stuff, you're not going to get meters done. Plus, that's not my priority right now because we're in the middle of a smart meter grant. So really, we're just, if whatever we put in the ground is going to be removed anyway. So that's not our priority right now.
That makes sense.
I talked to a guy today from Suez, from the company that actually put in the Suez Canal. It's a little pricey, but what they do is they epoxy line existing pipes that are in the ground when you can't get them out because they're under a building, or supposedly it's half as much as having a company come in and do mainline replacements, supposedly. But what it does is no matter how old the pipe is, you have to have 2 ends, however long it's going to be, cut them. They insert, they clean it, the pipe, they send a camera in it, they see where all the thin spots are or whatever, and then they insert this thing in there that sprays this epoxy coating. He brought a sample. And they start at the far end, they pull it towards you, and wherever the thin spots were, they add more. And then when they're done, they guarantee like 30 years, but apparently there's been a couple college studies that think it'll last more like 75 years. But it's kind of pricey. It wouldn't work in most of our situations, but I get a quote for North End where we have so many issues and there's no place to dig to do the mainline replacement and put the dirt to spoil. So in a situation like that, it might actually be a good idea, but it's just something that I'll get quotes on, and then I'll get quotes on the mainline replacement ourselves, what it would cost, and see where we stand. Oh, and the other thing they do is they split up what they do when they do it, even for a short section, they'll split up the cost over 15 years with 0 interest. So if you can't afford it all at once, they can split up the cost monthly over a long period of time with 0 interest. So that's the main reason I stopped to talk to them, because we can't afford any loans or anything. But
Are they a private company?
yeah, I believe they are. They're a major private company. The guy who does it actually used to work for Calgary Water, the salesman, and he was here to give us our Homeland Security training a couple years ago, so I was familiar with him. But
And that's all approved by the state?
well, I wouldn't need approval from the state other than the way they do.
Well, I'm just saying because what they're putting in. To
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
there's no health.
Yeah, they use this. They use this a lot. A lot of the old pipes going, under cities like at Los Angeles and stuff like that. You can't replace them. So they do this in a lot of areas like that. So it's good as far as that goes. And I think that's it.
yeah, because if we're spraying something in the pipe and then the water's going through there.
Yeah, it's actually it's a very hard epoxy substance that just totally coats the inside. It winds up to where the coating is thicker than the outside pipe, and it would be a lot better for us than having all the rust coming through the pipe and everything. So we'll see. I do have another report. They touched on it a little bit. The manager at the bank dug into me in front of everybody working there about her water bill is too much and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, way back when this first happened and you brought it up, I told you that if you got the owner of the building to want a smaller meter, we could do it, but we can't do it now. The vote already voted. We can't change meter size. Well, why not? It's unconscionable that you would charge us that much money, a small business that much money. I said, well, first of all, if we change it for change everybody else's plan in the rate study, it's going to negate the rate study. Second of all, what's unconscionable is for a national bank to say that are on a fixed income. I said, that's what's unconscionable. She says, well, you run a small business, you know what it's like. I said, yeah, I know that you would book us for overdraft fees if we overdrew our account because it's a business. I said, we're not doing it to be mean to you. We're doing it because when you guys built the building, you decided you wanted a 2-inch meter, and that's what size meter you got. So I figured she'd bring it up to the board members when they went in there too. But she tells, like Brahma said, when she comes in here talking about protecting our money, she's a national bank with unlimited resources. But when it comes to paying her water bill, she's a small business that's being hurt by the water bill. So
She puts on her chamber face, right?
yeah,
What
and that's my report.
Director
Because
Schomburg.
what she brought up to me was watering, and I haven't heard anything.
And she
since,
was watering.
So yeah, I think they weren't realizing, because I said there's no way, because Johnny had told her the same thing. I said there's no way that your bill would be that high just by toilet use. I mean, you don't have enough.
Well, she used
people at the
1,400
bank
cubic
there.
feet of water, but still the bulk of the bill is for having a 2-inch meter.
Right.
You know, it's going to be that.
And I
regardless.
talked to her about the Prop 218 also, so she didn't keep going with me.
So
She was just.
I had a local
curious.
business was talking like she was in the middle of the bank over the water bill. She said, man, I
There
feel
were-
bad for you.
Not only there were actual customers in
There's
there.
no customers until he walked in, but there was the 4 people that worked there, and then the Falcon's Nest walked in, and she was still. I didn't appreciate it much, but she knows.
How unprofessional.
She knows that, yeah.
That was just totally
Yeah, that was-
unprofessional.
And it's just uncalled for. She's a national bank. It's the Bank of Zion. They could pay a water bill. They made $72 on overdraft for me last month because my deposit wasn't done until after I made 3 purchases at Don's in the market and Dollar General in the same day. So I didn't feel too bad. So I paid part of her water bill just from that.
Well, they charge us even when we don't overdraft.
Yeah, they charge us and then have to refund it if we catch it.
Yes.
My
Director
apologies,
Schomburg.
I have to get up and down a little bit because I've got my back and also kidney stone stuff happening. So if I walk back and forth a little bit, that's what's
Okay.
going on.
Thank you, Johnny.
Linda, and it made sense for the financial reports, requested that when people make online payments and they're charged the convenience fee, that it show up in our system so that we can track it. And if a customer ever comes in and says, oh yeah, I paid this, we had no way of knowing that in the audit. So it's now translating into the system, and then we'll know for sure when we started that February 1st, and we'll know for sure.
So
at the-
it breaks it out.
Yeah, it breaks it out because it wasn't showing any fees.
Mm-hmm.
All it was doing was showing that they paid the principal amount.
No, right.
So we didn't have a way to track it, and Linda didn't have a way to see that we were collecting fees, and then she could piece it out in QuickBooks.
Right.
We couldn't track it. If they paid $43.50 because of credit card bills, all we seen was $42
Right.
on our system. So
Right.
couldn't get
So
the
that's-
dollar amount.
And we'll make sure it tracks in the adjustment report at the end of February.
March.
Yeah, then we'll make a call, and then
Yeah.
Okay.
that's about it.
Okay. Ad hocs. Sigma. I don't. Nothing's been done on that.
You did send that interesting email, Terry.
I did. Patrick sent me an email, which I forwarded it to Tiffany and Director Schomburg, about disadvantaged community.
Oh, grants.
Grant, underground water.
I read that same thing.
Sustainability something.
Patrick sent that to me, and it seemed to me that it mostly applied to Sigma, the grants.
Right. Yeah.
Why
And
is
since we're not
Sigma?
doing Sigma, I wasn't concerned with reading the fine details. Is all.
Yeah, because I wasn't
When
sure.
did you send that?
It's on.
What's the assessment?
When did I send that? Tuesday?
I think this week.
Tuesday or, yeah, it was this week.
That's what
Tuesday
it
or
is.
Wednesday.
2 days ago.
I didn't see it pop up on
Terry, Lisa, Johnny, and me.
Okay, I'll look again.
So it was.
Oh, see, that's a problem. They have your. That's what the. How did you get Lisa 5 dogs?
Oh yeah, that's
At least a $5.
personal email.
That's a
You
personal
shouldn't
email.
have that at all.
I don't have that.
Maybe did Patrick send that
Maybe
email?
it's from Patrick.
Yeah.
And she shouldn't have it either. How did she have that?
You're gonna have to tell her, give her your
What's it? What's the whole email? Can I see?
She responded. I asked her a question in regards to the newspaper articles that she's trying to get whatever.
Yeah.
She said that
This is
eventually there's going to be a letter coming out because I wanted to know a little bit more since that's a subject we're going to talk about. And then she sent me that email in regards to the water. So it was kind of a combo. And then I thought, oh, not sure. So I sent it to you guys.
Is that something that you could address while you're at work, just to Patrick, that all emails should always be addressed? It says it in our bylaws to our, first of all, that's an email address from about 10 years ago. So I never would have gotten it because it doesn't even exist anymore. And then secondly, she should always be sending to the FPPUD address. It's never a personal address.
Well, I forwarded the personal email from my email to my FPPUD account. Then that's where I sent it to you two
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
from
And
the
maybe,
FPPUD.
and maybe what you could do is we could just do
But that's why
take
I'm
the
like, I
contact
don't-
list that we have
And send that to
for
everybody.
everybody and say, please,
Okay.
Please
only send emails to these contact emails, and then it's not like
please
it's
do
one
not send it
particular-
Right.
personal.
Now just make it nice, go down
Yeah.
smooth and that'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, no, it's
Because I don't even know your personal
It's
email.
it's an email address from before we ever had FPPUD emails.
Oh, okay. Well, the one I sent is on your
That-
FPPUD.
Yeah, the one that came from
For some
Terry.
reason, I don't.
Yeah, one that I sent.
Okay.
So that's where that's at. Okay.
So I was looking at that email too, and some of the lists on that. So what they're doing is they got a bunch of grant applications
Yeah.
from disadvantaged communities for money to form their GSAs and GSPs. So now they're reviewing, they said something like 75 applicants,
Right.
and they're ready to award the grants.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
Well, we started trying to do that, and they told us
Told us
that
we
they
didn't
didn't
need
have that, and that we didn't need. Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't want to give us money if we don't need it. We would like to do it just for the sake of doing it, but there's nobody else in our basin to worry about, so the state don't want to give money for that.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's gonna
Did
play
they?
out.
In regard to that, did the new what are we talking about this under anyway?
The
Sigma.
Sigma.
In regard to that, did the new? I haven't looked. Have you looked to see if the new rulings came out yet? They were supposed to come
No.
out last year. I hadn't seen them yet.
They
when I looked
hadn't
in
at the end
October or
of
whatever.
I haven't seen anything but I haven't looked at this year.
Okay, we need to do that.
Okay, budget.
Do we still need that on there? Or is it kind of
No.
done?
No, we're
You can.
Remove?
more or less. I mean, well, no, we do still need it on there because we were still waiting to hear back from the auditors, so we do still need it on there because we have
Okay.
to double check it again once we actually get the stuff from the principal.
Okay.
No report. Okay. Depreciation of
I
assets.
haven't done it.
No.
Lake of the Woods, transfer
Agreement we
agreement.
read over, and we're waiting for some additional, I mean, that we motioned on, but we did not receive yet the other transfer agreements that aren't part of this, but actually, I think MOUs.
So you want to keep your ad hoc for all?
Yeah, yeah, I guess that we need to, we can't vote on it tonight, so we need to put that on the agenda for the next time there's 5 board members, because we need the 3 board members who can vote on it to approve that we also expand that to check all the other MOUs.
Right.
But right now, that MOU is done for the moment.
Okay.
But I could just add that line item. I add stuff to the agenda all the time. I could just add
Right, but as an ad hoc, they agree
to
that
approve that.
we're
That makes
right
sense.
because it's expanded, because it's no longer just Lake of the Woods, it's all the other, which we can't do without Linda. So I'm gonna. Is she coming tonight?
She
I thought
is.
she was.
Okay, let me
Yeah.
move. We didn't know at the time we approved that there were no adjustments. But at this point, because she's not here, I'm going to move that we take number 8 and put it, I would say right before 14, which is another banking issue, so that because we don't want to really talk about that.
I thought that I know I'm probably just having a memory fade, but I thought it was 289,000 in the in the contingency fund, and it says 285.
I don't know, I'll have to look it up.
We'll have to look.
I mean, that's stuff that we should be periodically
Yeah,
checking.
month before, yes.
And speaking of the bank accounts, I got my first invoice for the telemetry upgrade because Ness is having the vendor come to me and I pay them. Linda,
So we're can I stop for a
Oh, I was
second?
about
Can
to-
you
Yeah,
hold
let's-
that thought, because we're actually adjusting the agenda.
Agenda, we're gonna adjust that.
Then I
so
won't be
when-
able to talk about it, will I?
Not
Oh, later on I
yet.
can.
Yeah.
We'll talk about
But
it.
there's a motion
Sorry.
on the floor.
Floor.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, just remember
401.
that. Thank you.
So we're gonna move that to before,
So
after
we're on
13.
we're on 9.
Yes,
Okay.
okay. 9, presentation on filling out the 700 forms.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you all have the packets in
You know
front.
what? Doesn't she have to fill one of these out too, but not legally
She's
to
not
us?
named. We can look at it
Okay.
in my thing.
Okay.
I thought I'd try and be helpful and do like a little PowerPoint you through
That'd
the
be
700 forms.
wonderful.
So
Although it'd be nice if Jerry was here for that also, but maybe.
I'll
Yeah.
probably see him like on a Friday and go through it with him or
Okay.
something. So we can do that.
He's been coming in.
So
on
we really don't need
Fridays.
this first
If I need him
reference
to. Like,
packet to fill it out.
yeah, that's
So
because
far.
it's good I give it to you. That way,
Yeah,
you know,
like you're
that's
gonna
it. I
cover
give it to you.
Are we just gonna go line by line on filling it out?
We will.
Perfect.
We're gonna go line by line, and I even clarified a couple things with Ernest if I had a question. So, and the stuff I'm saying is directly like from the reference packet and the 700 one. So, yay for that. Okay, 700, and then I put a little colored tab on the cover page of the 700
Is the
one.
pay,
So you can find it easier and yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So reminders, the due date for filing this document is April 2nd. We start in February, gives us a little leeway so we don't end up being late in case people are absent or whatever.
So we just fill it out and give it to you.
Yes. This is a public document. It must always be available for inspection, reproduction for any reason. This form has to be filed. This is how often it's done. It's always done annually. When you run for office, for the ones who are running in 2018, they're going to ask you to do this again. And
When you go
they're
down,
supposed to.
yeah.
When you go down. When you assume
And who's
office,
that's gonna be? That's gonna be
Rebecca,
Me.
Terry, and Lisa
And Lisa.
is
Okay.
2018. And then you always file one when you leave office. I've never seen a leaving office one, so
And
we'll
when
make
is
sure
the,
we do
when
that.
is the file date for them to run for office?
Usually June or July, but we
Yeah.
haven't got the packet yet.
And we almost missed it last time, so we need to really get help on remembering to do that, because I remember Becky and I ran down there at the last possible second.
Right?
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I do
maybe
keep
we
on
can
that.
all
I got
kind
them
of carpool
in.
or something, cause
We
I have
carpooled,
no
yeah.
idea.
I got them in on it, but I helped them, and we got the date. So we get sent packets in the mail, and then I also monitor the site, the election site, when they produce those dates. Okay, so the section by section, this is the top of your statement of economic interest, cover page. So there it is. Top line, put your last name, first name, middle name. And I clarified with Ernest, I do not fill one out.
Did you create this PowerPoint?
Mm-hmm.
Great job.
Wow.
Thank you.
You rock.
It'll go
You
on
rock.
yet.
Yep, that one's done, yeah.
Okay.
We good? Okay. Next line. Sorry if it seems a little
Agent,
basic, but
agency name?
agency name, Fraser Park Public Utility District.
So awesome having this. We do
Is
this
it?
wrong every year. Somebody does it wrong.
Yeah, you'll see one of them is most of the time.
Okay.
Board of Directors, of course, and then your position.
Oh, of course, I already put my general manager in the wrong spot.
Director.
There's one every year, Johnny.
I know, and I'm gonna be the guy.
Way up.
And my position like treasurer?
Mm-hmm.
We don't
Huh?
we just put director?
You can put your position on the board.
So vice
You-
president?
Yeah,
So
I mean,
you-
it's
you-
just
or
so people
director,
can
I mean-
identify. It's
But
not.
we could. I've been director, then a dash, then secretary,
Right.
or whatever.
Director dash secretary, director dash. I mean, you put your division board of directors, so.
And if you do both JPIA, which do we have that still? Somebody doing both? We forgot to do that last time. Do we have a JPIA rep at this point? Oops, we forgot.
Is that something I've never worked with that.
Yeah,
Do we
we've
call
always done-
JPIA and set up a rep?
We've
with
always
them?
had to do.
Well, Becky
two-
was, and I was supposed to become the rep, but we never.
If whoever changes, all we have to do is send JPI a message and tell them, you could direct emails to Roman Nyman and Johnny Allison.
Oh, okay.
Well, we forgot to put it, I think, on the resolution. And it has to be on here. You have to name both of your. You have to do a separate one for. I forget how it happens, but you have to put both positions.
Oh, in the agency box?
Uh-huh.
Well, then just put
So that's Brahma.
that position now. Where it says board of directors, I wouldn't put nothing, right? I just put
No.
to the right general
Your
manager.
So
general
what?
manager.
And the agency. So you want me to put JPIA?
You better not, because we
Not
didn't
under
vote
agency.
for it.
Okay, we'll just leave it as it is
Okay.
right
It's
now.
not part of the
Well,
resolution right
We'll,
now.
we'll figure that out later. I'm not gonna worry about that.
Okay, this is a new one for you guys. Your jurisdiction, that's where you make, who you make decisions for.
City
a lot of
of
times you
Fraser
guys
Park.
have been putting County of Kern, but you have no jurisdiction over the
So
county.
City of Fraser Park.
It's other for special districts,
Oh, okay.
and it's Fraser Park PUD brand.
Really? Because we always used to put County of Kern.
Yeah, but you don't have jurisdiction over the County of Kern. Your jurisdiction
So
is
it's
the Fraser
Fraser
Park,
Park
bound,
PUD
district
boundary.
boundary.
That makes sense.
Wow, Tiff, you're on.
Wow,
it.
so it has been wrong for as long as I've been on this board.
That's okay.
I have a question before you move on.
Wow, you made this PowerPoint. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
My question is, what was the agency position?
The agency was only if you're doing multiple positions, so that would only be.
So nothing, we don't have to fill
So
that
So
out.
that would
at all.
only be for the JPIA one. That's where you put it. Okay. I was.
That's only if he had to file as a JPIA rep. But
You
it's
do-
not.
You do.
Yeah.
I think there was some.
If
well,
JPIA
who knows, 'cause
requires
we've been
him to
doing this
file.
wrong the whole time, so who knows?
Okay.
If JPI requires me to file.
Okay, ready for section 3?
Right.
This one's easy. This is your annual statement.
Okay, but how come this says period covered is January 1st, 2017 to December 2017?
Because everything you're disclosing is not what's going forward, it's for the past
Oh.
year.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense.
That is a good point though, because you're only declaring.
It's just like
for that-
taxes.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
that
It's
period.
2017.
Okay.
Okay, I wanted to go back and
Read
draw your
something?
attention to our conflict of interest code, the one that we redid in 2016. So the conflict of interest code is what requires you to fill out the 700 form, and what you report in that 700 form comes from the conflict of interest code. They are wed together. So this is just a cut and paste of our conflict of interest code.
Okay.
Page 2. So your disclosure categories, you only have to disclose what the conflict of interest code tells you to. You don't have to disclose more than that. And we'll get into that in the next slide. So board of directors, your disclosure categories 1, 2, and 3. General manager, it's 1, 2, and 3. It's only different for the auditor. Make
Okay.
sense?
Makes sense.
Disclosure categories. So this is what is telling you need to disclose. So category 1, designated employee in this category report all investments and business positions in business entities and sources of income, including receipt of gifts, loans, and travel payments, from any source that provides leased facilities, services, supplies, materials, or equipment of the type utilized by the district.
So if the Chamber of Commerce was giving me stuff and they're leasing our signs, or T-Mobile was giving me stuff, I would
Yes.
have to disclose that.
Yes, exactly. Now, you'll see the conflict of interest says you only have to report businesses who do business in your jurisdiction, and this is actually minimizing that. So let's say, who's a business here? The chiropractor. You don't have to disclose anything about a chiropractic business located in Fraser because they do not.
But
So you wouldn't have
if
to
I
disclose it.
was in construction and we buy or use construction services for certain things, I would need to disclose. And I did construction in the Fraser Park
Yes.
Public Utility District, I would need to disclose that.
It has to be a business located within the district boundary and of the type that gives
That we would
us
normally do
specifically
business with.
anything to do with our services, supplies, materials, or
So
equipment. that we
water.
Yeah.
use. So, like, you wouldn't have to disclose any interest in something that has nothing to do with us, for example, a medical or. Okay, category 2 is that's your interest in property. So that's any rental or lease property that you make money from.
But
That's
not your,
located
but
within the
not
district.
Not your primary.
not your
household.
primary residence.
Not your primary residence, but Lake of the Woods does count,
Okay.
because not only may they be within 2 miles, but because we own Cold Springs, and Cold Springs is right there, and 2 miles of the Cold Springs property as well.
Okay.
Just to let you know. So if you have rental property or
Oh yeah, I'm
Things
a
like that.
multi-millionaire.
and then
We've had people and they didn't disclose it, and the whole reason you have this.
No, I understand.
Yeah,
no,
so I'm
I think
just
it's
kinda
great.
being-
No,
Well,
I-
it's-
I mean, I'm not
I'm
going to
being
tell you you do
sarcastic,
this, you
but
do that.
yeah.
No,
I'm
I
just
know, but
letting
it's
you know.
super. It is super important because if someone doesn't disclose this and they say own a bunch of property on thinking
Upgrade.
about doing an upgrade, but we're
Mhm.
not sure, and they don't recuse themselves from that vote, they are being.
That's a conflict.
That's
of
a
interest.
conflict of
Yeah,
interest.
yeah.
Right. And then category 3, so if anybody is filing a claim against us, have a claim pending. So this can be outside, I believe, outside of the district, but if anybody's suing us and we have interest in that, you gotta tell them.
Okay.
So, but that's,
We have none of that.
yeah, nobody's got a claim. So, section 4,
Okay.
you don't have to do anything yet. I circled it all because we're gonna look at the schedules and help you. If it applies, we can walk through the schedules.
Well, I don't own anything, so
And this is where you report a financial interest, and I put a star any business because it's not any business. Our conflict of interest says only businesses that supply us or have the same services as us. So a financial interest in any business entity, including a consulting business or other independent contracting business that is located in, doing business and planning to do business in, or that has done business during the previous 2 years in your agency's jurisdiction. And by the way, it applies to your spouse and children if they live with you, or your dependent had a direct
Or your
indirect.
domestic partner.
Or exactly. Investment. So Schedule A1 is if you have stock in
Ace Hardware.
Ace Hardware specifically.
Or in Self-Help
We get
Enterprises.
supplies from Ace. You should show that. Or if you own a business, if you own more than 10% of Ace Hardware, you gotta let them know.
If
put it
you're
in your
doing
thing.
water consultation in the district and you have more than you're making a certain amount, you would
If you have
to
your own
disclose
business.
it.
Yeah, if it's $2,000 or more, you have to disclose it.
Easy peasy.
Good, keep going.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just a little helpful thing. Report stocks, bonds, warrants, and options. Report your sole proprietorships,
Proprietorship.
your own business, and your spouse's. Same. And you don't have to report your government bonds or mutual funds. You don't have to report your bank accounts, your money market accounts, savings accounts, annuities, commodities, credit
Oh,
unions,
okay. Yeah, because I was going to ask that is how
and
do you
retirement
know
accounts.
if you have a bank account whether or not they have investments?
So when
in,
you
like-
say mutual,
don't
like
have
if
to
you have a
report it.
401k, you know,
Yeah.
you
Nope.
don't,
You don't have to report
because you don't
any of
really
that.
have any interest in that. They just do it.
They
They
do
do.
it for you.
Yeah, so you have no influence in it.
Great. That was always a question of mine.
Okay. So anybody got an A? Do your A. If not, well,
I can mark none.
Me too.
well
Like
let's
go
get
on.
through the thing and
Oh,
then you
okay.
can decide if you mark that. Here's B, interests in real property. So report interests in real property located in your agency's jurisdiction or 2 miles, in which you, your spouse, or registered domestic partner or dependent children had a direct, indirect, or beneficial interest totaling $2,000 or more at any time during the reporting period. And real property is considered as long as it's within 2 miles of a, if any part of it is located within 2 miles of any land owned or used by the local government agency. That's why Cold Springs kind of pushes us a little bit 2 miles that way. Does that make sense?
But the definition of real property is an investment. It's not your personal residence.
Here's-
Yeah, except
yeah.
I have a weird, and I have to fix this at some point in life, but I have a weird situation, which this has come up. My house goes across all 3 lots. However, as far
Your
as
house is that big? Takes up 3 lots?
yeah, it's long. It's just skinny and long. However, Kern County has me as owning a lot, which I actually pay our standby fee on,
Mm-hmm.
but which is not exactly correct because when I bought it, it's always been listed as a separate lot. I mean, I guess at some point I never report it because it doesn't make any sense because it's basically my house. It's not like in a
You-
different spot.
Yeah, you wouldn't report it on this because you're not making money off of it.
Yeah,
if you
you're
took
not
one
making
of
money.
those lots and rented it out and made more than $2,000 in the
But-
year, then you'd have
So
to
it's
report it.
only if you
Make
rent
money.
that property, so you could own multiple properties, but if you're not renting or receiving any money from it, you don't have to report it because it's still over $2,000.
Yeah, let me go back one. Yeah. Totaling $2,000 or
Oh,
more.
interest totaling. No, but it says an interest in. It doesn't say
Had a
that
direct
you're-
or beneficial interest, meaning you made more than $2,000 or more at any time. So if you
Direct
rented it out,
indirect,
leased it out, or made
or
any money.
beneficial
How you doing?
interest.
Just want to drop that off.
Direct, indirect, or beneficial
Welcome to come in if you'd like.
interest. But
Oh, this is
And that's when I
first
put on the next
No, it's-
slide.
no,
So
that's-
if
that's
you can
more
have
than-
all the lots you want,
one. Oh, okay. So I'll take
if
that.
you're not renting them out,
or-
leasing
or
them out, or making any
sort
money
of
off of
money,
it,
okay.
you don't have to
Just
report it because
see
what they're
that you're
interested is
having
what's
meetings.
profiting you. That's when it
Is
becomes a
enough
conflict of
exposure?
interest.
But wouldn't it still be a conflict of interest if somebody owned a lot on another street and then voted for like the example I just gave? That doesn't make
Not
sense.
if you're making money. Well, that could be.
I would say,
There is a
I would
difference
say if you had,
between your
if-
700 form and your AB 1234 training. Now this is separate. Your conflict of interest training as to what you do and don't vote on is completely unrelated to your.
Okay, so you're just
700
saying you
form.
don't need to claim it, but you better still recuse yourself.
Yes, that's
Okay.
what I'm saying.
if you had real property,
Because that's an ethical issue.
Right.
This is just
but
reporting
if you're,
your
but,
money.
but if you had property and you're renting it out, then you have
Then
to
you're
report it.
absolutely have to report
Right.
it. Yeah.
So you report ownership
Okay,
interest,
land baron
deed
gets
of
in.
trust, easements, options to acquire property, interest in real property. If you're making money off of it from somebody else, you report it. You don't report a residence, your vacation cabin. If you're a room for which you may claim a business deduction, if you have like a home
Or-
business and you're doing that on your taxes and calling it your home office, you don't have to report it.
But if you have someone renting a room from you, you may
do.
have to
Mm-hmm.
report it.
If you claim a business deduction.
Oh,
So you could rent out a room, but you can't claim a deduction for renting.
okay.
Makes sense. Okay. So that's B. So if you have any rental properties, then you declare it. C is income, loans, and business positions. So report the source and amount of gross income of $500 or more you received during the reporting period. Gross income is the total amount of income before deducting expenses, losses, or taxed, and includes loans other than loans from a commercial lending institution, personal loans. You must also report the source of income. It says to, and I did copy that directly from the form, but I believe it should say of. You must also report the source of income of your spouse or registered domestic partner if your community property share was $500 or more during the reported period. That makes sense? This is income.
Wait a minute. No, I'm still okay. Report the source amount of gross income of $500 or more you received. Total amount of income before deduction. But that would be besides your normal. Oh, it'll be on the next slide, right? Like not your normal
Not your normal.
job.
No.
Not if you're working here, because we're a government agency. Part 2, the source and income be reported only if the source is located in, doing business, planning to do business, or has done
Right,
business
okay.
during the previous 2
In
years.
your agency.
In your agency's jurisdiction. And then, again, conflict of interest code only for businesses that provide services or resources of the kind you. Because we don't make food.
Right.
It has nothing to do with us.
Okay.
If you had a job there. But if you had a job at Falcon's Nest and it was a regular thing that we ordered Falcon's Nest for all our meetings,
Yeah.
possibly.
Yeah, that would look
Because
bad.
now we're using the services of Falcon's Nest. And you would have had to have earned $500 or more, or your spouse had earned $500.
Or if you were part of Santana, we were moving water,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
you
Yes,
would have
that
to
would-
then
You would have to report it.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's your reportable and non-reportable.
Stock. Community property interest in your spouse or registered.
So this is actually, the 700 form is part of sort of like your federal and state
Yeah.
income tax.
Mhm.
Gross
Yeah, you're-
income
it's so
from
people
any
know
sale,
what you're
including the
profiting
sale
from.
of a house or car.
Yeah, if you sell your home located in the district boundary made more than $500, you had to report it as income because you do. Yeah, it's a little bit different than taxes because taxes.
Oh, I
don't
haven't done
necessarily-
that. I sold a car.
Isn't that weird? This is straight from the guide, including the sale of a house or car.
Why would a car be in?
They just want you to let people know.
But it would be the sale of a car to someone doing business with the district or doing
Right.
business that affects the district.
So if I'm doing business with Santana,
And you sell
hauling dirt and road base and all that stuff, and then I sell him my car, or he sells me a car, I would have to report it because
So I would have to recuse who I sold the car to, came here and put in flooring for us. I would need to
Recuse.
report
Right,
that
but that's
or
a different-
recuse myself.
Remember that recusing yourself is a little bit of
But
a
it-
different animal than
but
your
it's-
700 form.
But
But
you
I
have to
would still
report
need
it.
to report it.
You'd have to report it.
But luckily it was 500, but I think I would still have to report it if he ever like does flooring here because
and he probably
he's-
won't.
okay.
So I wouldn't worry about it.
And not if you, yeah, this is 2017, so
Yeah, it was
If only if
but
it had
this I
already
sold
happened.
the car in 2017.
yeah.
Well, he's not going to do work for us. So
In 2017.
In 2017.
And I sold my
Right,
car to
anytime.
Kelly.
Oh, who did work for us? But for more than $500?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
think-
well, how do you deal
I think
with
she
that?
worked
But
here.
she wasn't working here in 2017.
I think she worked here in 2016.
Don't worry about it.
No.
Oh,
You get
Well, it's just interesting because it's stuff you would never think about. Like I wouldn't have
Yeah.
really thought about that.
gifts. A gift is anything of value for which you have not provided equal or greater consideration to the donor. A gift is reportable if its fair market value is $50 or more. In addition, multiple gifts totaling $50 or more received during the reporting period from a single source must be reported. If you benefit personally.
Must
When-
make a goof face
When Ferguson brings donuts,
if it added up to
$500.
$50.
if it added up to $50 and they gave it to Johnny and Johnny ate all the donuts, yes. But the gift,
mm-hmm.
it has nothing to do with you anymore.
And luckily, the couple times he's done it, it didn't come up to.
I'm making.
Well, yeah, I mean,
We-
I'm just
So
using
so
these
you
on
must
examples.
make a goof faith estimate.
I thought I changed that. A good faith estimate. So yeah, so when people want to bring gifts, as long as you make it available, it's not your personal gift anymore.
Good.
So.
Good thing I like to share.
Well, that's a lot. $50 in donuts.
Yeah.
You'd get sick if you eat them. It double clicked. Go back. Reportable. So things like tickets, passes, food, beverages, accommodations, wedding gifts, honorarium, transportation, lodging.
And that's all
Budget for
stuff is over $50.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And all stuff that's happening with companies that we do business
This
with.
way.
Right.
Yeah.
Guess I'm slacking because I haven't gotten any of those things.
Yeah, I hear you.
For instance, if Falcon's Nest decided to bring us all dinner one night, would that have to go on there?
No, because it would, unless
It would
each
be-
meal was over $50, no.
Right, and it's not
Yeah,
yours
so if
to
they
create
just brought it and put it in that room, it'd
Yeah.
be okay, but if they
That's
brought
not a
us
personal
each
gift.
individually $50 worth of food, we'd have to report it.
Like at the
Mhm.
community building when everybody donated food.
Right, we didn't have to report that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a personal gift.
Right.
If somebody wants to bring the board president a special gift and they're providing services and she takes it home and it's over $50,
Like that one.
Like if they were trying to
like
earn
that one
favor.
governor in Virginia that got that car and.
No, yeah, this is not just for us. This goes the 700s all the way up to governor. So
Yeah.
they're covering all their bases where people may not feel the need to give us cars. Unfortunately, but they could give me a car and I don't have to report it because I. And then travel payment advances and reimbursement. So that's plane tickets, free bus rides for life.
Free bus rides for life.
So we got nothing.
Yeah,
None.
that's a thing.
Oh. I didn't know.
Okay.
So if Johnny wanted to take our little transit all the way to Bakersfield and back and forth and back and forth.
If they
It's
gave it
not
to me
really
for
a-
free.
Yeah, and if it was a service that utilized by the district, if it somehow gained them favor, but even then it wouldn't.
It's more like if a limo service or something decides to start trying to butter me up and taking me places and stuff
Yeah, you
like
never
that.
had to pay for any of it.
Yeah.
As long as you changed out their meter.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
That was exactly what you have to do.
Yeah.
So travel payments received.
I'm kind of sad that none of us in this room have to list anything.
I know.
No gifts. No.
Shows how poor we are.
I think somebody.
That's why we're a disadvantaged community.
Alright, so you
Okay.
know which things you have to fill out. So if you picked any one of those that you needed to fill out, put a checkbox next to the ones that you needed
Ooh,
to
I
fill
To
out.
do none.
And one
I ain't
for the
got
total
nothing.
number of pages.
One checking at a time. Or none.
No,
So
By
now we
floating
put
checkpoint.
0 number of pages?
No, you
no
put,
one. Always
including
one.
the total page, it's 1. So if it's only the cover page, it's 1.
Okay.
Alright.
Where are you supposed to put the one?
Up where it says in the box at the top, says total number of pages including.
For none, no reportable interests.
Okay.
And the bottom of the form, your verification. Please put the district's P.O. box. It's up there.
Okay.
It very specifically says this is a public document and you don't want to put
Your address.
personal address. It's the district address.
Which is another problem because they used to tell us we had to put the personal address. So it's,
Well, we don't
I
have
always
to.
complained about
It
that.
actually says right there, business or agency address recommended.
Yeah,
Public
I know.
document. So it says right on your form.
Yeah, so they don't show up at your house, and even though people know we're in this little town.
Small
we're in
town.
it. Daytime phone number, is that our phone number?
No, it's
That's
the
the
district,
district.
phone number.
There it is for you if you need it.
Very nice, Tiffany.
Oh, she
Very
already.
impressed.
I'm very.
She's learning from our inability to fill this out last year.
Trying to do that.
we must have done it like 10 times. Not a good
Email?
one, but-
So you could put FPPUD1, or if you want to put FPPUD Gmail, you can do that. Your Lisa
So-
S, Brahma N, Terry. You
I'm
can
just
put
gonna-
that if you'd like, because that's your board email, or you can just put FPPUD1.
I'll put FPP1. Okay, and then sign it.
February 18,
Oh, you've been helping me.
and then sign.
Wow.
And then turn it in. And our conflict of interest code says that we file our own and store it here. It doesn't go to the Board of Supervisors. It doesn't go to the FPPC. It stays
Good
with us.
job,
It's filed
Tiffany.
with us, and then if anybody ever asks for it, I have to give it up.
I'd be willing to bet if you could type one of these up, exactly like all of our, with Jerry's information on it, and then when you talk to him, you could just verify it, and then he could just sign it. Because I don't believe any of this applies to him either. You could always change it if you want to, but he doesn't do anything.
Business in town anymore? He used to.
For a long time. The last time I know that he did any kind of business,
The
it was
wall
when he
at the
rebuilt that
day
wall.
spa, yeah.
And that's been
Did you pass?
quite a
yours?
while. That's been like 5 years or 4 years. Alright, I'm filing this.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you, and then I'll.
Thank you, you made that as painless as possible.
Oh yeah, instead of each one of us coming to you.
And it gets
Instead of
done.
saying, I need another copy, I just screwed mine up.
Do you
I need
want
another copy.
any of this stuff back for next year?
No, because it could change
It's
next year
different,
specifically,
yeah.
David, but I didn't want you to say I didn't give you all the information, so.
Amazing Tiffany.
You know, by doing these kind of things well like this, I'm gonna utilize your skills even more when you do stuff like that, right? because you're good at making PowerPoints. Yeah.
PowerPoint.
I am gonna learn though, just so you know. I'm gonna start assigning people Target Solutions training again, including myself. PowerPoint, because he said they have PowerPoint and Excel training classes on that, and I've wanted to do that. I will.
Yeah, those are good.
Okay, on to 10. Vote and discussion and vote on sending GM and lead field operator to the American Water Works Association convention. And,
Yeah, I wanted to look at the thing for
The
it.
cost is on this, and then here's the brochure. And actually, there's the non-stop and sending them.
well, I do remember when you brought this up that you said that you wanted to take Billy
Yeah.
and then you wanted to have 2 rooms, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's in Las Vegas, right?
Yeah. Which, just as a disclaimer ahead of time, Vegas may be a big attractive thing for some other people to go to. I'm not a gambler or a drinker, so going to Vegas isn't a big deal for me. Tahoe would be another story. That might be more fun, but.
I'm just concerned about the cost.
And
To
I
be
know
honest
you are,
with
but just so you know, you guys are wanting top-notch employees that are informed, and I've been to, in the 8 years I've been a water operator, I've been to 0 things like this. So it's up to you guys, but
You
Yeah.
found it beneficial to send me, and
you can't learn very much
so-
unless you go to these type of symposiums and conventions. So,
That's very true, Tiffany.
and she's learned tons of stuff. Going.
But I'm just gonna say it, my concern is that the wives are gonna be going.
To have one person, one room, and one admission to the convention. You're not paying for other people to go anywhere.
Okay, and what,
Not only that, but the wives and stuff couldn't even go to the convention because it's $400 and some bucks a piece to get in.
okay, well, I'm not,
Just so you know, I understand.
I'm asking the question.
No, I
Okay,
understand.
I didn't even realize that the wives were going. I just thought it was
No,
the 2
I
of
don't
you.
think my wives are going.
No, I didn't
Your
say they
wives?
were, I was
My
bringing
wife-
up.
I don't know if the wives are going.
I was bringing
My
up
kids are still in
I was
school.
bringing up a subject because of what I'm concerned with the way that if we send you guys to go be at that convention, I don't want it heard or around town that so-and-so went and stayed in the room and got paid. That's my biggest
No,
concern.
I understand your concern.
So I'm just being honest up front because I know how this community is, and they would say, "Oh, you're giving vacation or something to."
Well, just so you know, my kids are in school all that week.
Right. Okay.
It's all during
I'm
the
not.
week,
I'm
so-
not, Johnny. I'm not.
You always. You
I
start,
feel-
just to cut you up. You always start explaining something, then you look at me and you act like if I say anything, I'm trying to rebut you. I'm
No,
not, I'm
no,
not
I-
trying to rebut you, and I that's a very valid.
Right. I'm just bringing up my concerns because I just know how things are in this community and how
I get
small a community this
I get
is.
that, and I agree that would look very bad, and I think that is a negligible concern.
He doesn't drink.
Well,
No.
yeah.
But if he were to gamble,
Now,
he would
do
be
they?
taking his own money.
And we still
Off
have
hours.
to provide food.
So
I'm not
far,
concerned.
under-
I'm just kind of
Yeah.
trying to figure
But-
out what our costs are going to
Yeah.
be.
You're
That's
fleshing
why
it out. You're
I'm fleshing it
out.
out.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, because
Well,
I know.
See, there's a bunch of buffets up there.
Actually, they're not cheap anymore.
Director
They're like $50
Schomburg.
for a buffet.
I don't want to annoy you because I know you said something about this last time, but it's like $700 each for the 2 rooms, and I just didn't understand why it would be difficult to share a room.
Again, because I'm a very private 51-year-old man that I do not share rooms with people other than my family. I don't do it with friends. I don't do it with anybody. I don't do it with my mom and dad. When I go places for the benefit of work, I just don't do that. If that's the deciding factor, I'm cool with that. I just don't.
Because that's the only thing where I see, because it looked like the subjects are stuff that both.
And if you look at the cost of the hotel that everybody else is staying at, it's a lot more than the one I found that's clear over in Henderson that we'll have to drive every day. So
that's
I'm not trying to stay at the high dollar hotel room and enjoy
So you're not
myself,
staying
but-
at the,
No, we're gonna stay in Henderson instead of Vegas because the cheapest decent room I could get was all the way in Henderson, Nevada. So I'm willing to drive to get a cheaper room. So
okay, but then we would have to get a rental car.
no, I just take the work truck to go there.
and then we pay mileage.
No, not if I take the work truck. You don't pay mileage.
Oh,
If
yeah.
I take my own, if I choose to take my own vehicle,
Right. Oh yeah, if you take the
you can
work
pay,
truck.
you can pay mileage. But if I take the work truck,
Well, we
then
just
there's
pay
no mileage
for
involved.
gas,
Yeah,
basically.
it's just cheap.
Yeah.
Okay, then, would you and Billy go together?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we just go together.
Hoover Dam.
Or we take our own vehicles and not charge mileage. It just depends on what people want to do, but it's so far that I'm not gonna ask you to pay mileage to go. If we don't want to pay for our own gas, we'll take the work truck.
So basically, we're not paying for the airplane or whatever to go
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I didn't even think of flying.
Belinda has a question.
Yes.
Just as a constituent,
Yeah.
not as the account, but as constituent, I have no problem having my bill go towards further education and stuff.
Oh no, I was just bringing up
That's
some
just my
concerns, and
input
I
as a
just I
constituent.
wanted to know more about this. That's why we're talking about it. I just wanted to be clear because I just didn't want any confusion because I like to be honest and upfront, just like Johnny likes to be honest and upfront.
And you have to have your questions answered ahead of time, so if things come up, you already have the answer to it.
That's true too. Because I don't want people. Because people stop me in town all the time about different things, you know.
Just so you know, the only reason I brought this up is because every time ACWA and these other people have these conventions, every time later on I'm asked by multiple people, "Oh, what'd you get out of that convention?" "Well, I didn't go." "Well, why didn't you go?" "Well, because I don't go." ACWA always does the convention, but it's always in a place that looks bad, like Tahoe or someplace. So I never ask because it looks like it's bad, but that's where they tend to have these conventions.
Because it's cheaper for them.
It's the environment of where they like to have them.
Because they court that kind of thing.
Yeah, they court that thing, so that's why they're always there. Even Ace Hardware, they had their convention in Vegas, and I went with Heather to that convention, and it was enlightening. It was a big deal. That convention was a big deal. You learned a lot more than you think you would, even with hardware.
So we're looking at it's $1,000 for the registration.
Is it? I thought it was $434. What did it say on the back?
$495 per
So
field
two,
operator.
yeah.
So basically it's $1,000 plus $1,500 for the room. So that's $2,500. Okay, and then plus food and gas.
So 5K.
So no, you're not.
And
no, it wouldn't be that much.
Just so you
You're
know, I haven't asked Billy even yet if he was willing to go.
right.
And also back to the mileage thing, if Billy does go and we opt to take our motorcycles, it's a lot cheaper in gas than cars. We may submit
Yeah,
mileage for the
25.
motorcycles there.
25. You're looking at probably tops 30 between $3,000 and $3,500.
Yeah.
For the
Because the
total
meals
cost.
usually work out to about
Yeah, you figure
$30
what
a day or something.
Yeah, so I mean it's $2,500 just for the thing. So the other expenses, you're looking at 5 days. You had $500 or $600 on there plus, so anywhere from $300 to $3,500. So. I make a motion that we, if if they're willing to go? Or is there any more, well, I gotta wait, are we done with any discussion? Does anybody have
Well,
anything
you can
else?
make a motion and then we.
Training, sending the GM and the lead field operator to the AWWA convention. And that's in April, right?
June,
Or
June.
June.
in
In
June
June.
10th to
I'm
the
bringing it up
15th.
early because we get better pricing if we do it by
Right.
April.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, we need to segment first and then I'll.
Is
ask the
there a
question.
second?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Did you have a question?
Yeah, so now can we do discussion?
Okay, let's do
So I had
discussion.
another question.
Sure.
So if there's an emergency, since you and the lead person are potentially going, do you feel like the other employees that are here would be able to handle it? I know you're available by phone, but would they be able to do everything that's needed without either of you guys being here? It's the whole week, right?
Right.
Yeah, it would be, I have no doubt that they could handle everything that's foreseeable. If it got to be some crazy thing like the big storm that washed out the creek bed or
You'd have to
something,
come back possibly.
then Sean, I have total faith that Sean could hold down the fort until we got back. Which, you know, in that situation, we would come back and take care of it. But Sean could hold down the fort for several hours.
Is he a?
He's certified.
Yeah.
He's a
certified.
D2 or D1?
He's a D1, but he's
Okay.
he's been on the backhoe a lot. He's handled some
Right.
times.
No, I have a lot of confidence in
So-
Sean. He's been here a while and he's done a really great
And,
job. So
you know, Logan, you know, top notch.
Yeah.
For work ethics and stuff.
sure,
So
sure.
be good.
Okay.
Okay. Any more discussion? Okay, do I hear a second?
The second
Well,
one
it's
we
already
have-
been second, so I
Okay.
guess we vote.
That's just the vote.
Okay,
Call the
all
vote.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
401. Okay.
Okay, good.
Discussion and vote on donating or auctioning off the copy machine.
Okay.
Copy, but the
Yeah,
copy.
To give you the update, when apparently they've done this twice for us. When we first got that copier,
Right.
we decided we wanted a colored one. They bought out one or the other of them to start the lease again. So now we're paying a service fee on one of them. Then when we wanted that one, they bought out that one. So that one, as surprising as it is for me, we own that one. Free and clear. I said, well, we could just store it in case we ever need it. He said, I highly recommend you don't do that. It's like a car. It'll just fail. It'll never work again if it sits. So he said maybe you should donate it. So my thought was nonprofit like Family Health,
Community resource.
Healthy
center.
Start or whatever. I went over there. They've already got one. So they don't really need one. I've yet to find somebody that was totally non-denominational that I could donate it to. Yeah.
And you're done.
So at this point, I don't know who would be a good option to donate it to.
Director Schomburg.
I would like to see, they may not want it, but I would like to see us donate it, if possible, to another governmental entity, which would be like the high school that's here, that's also part of this mountain, so that, because that's, I know that they may be willing to go in on a lease for it. It would save them some money.
If we were going to do that, I would prefer the elementary school just because it's within our boundary.
Within our boundaries, that would be fine
Yeah.
with me too.
I prefer the elementary school for that. So
I mean, I'm sure they
And-
would use it too.
Eric that did this, Eric Schulman said that you know, obviously they have to get a service contract to, you know, take up because they're technical. He said he would, you know, really work with them to help them with that. So
Or
Director
maybe
Schomburg.
a couple in case the elementary school says.
Yeah.
I'd like to move that we explore donating it to the elementary school. If the elementary school cannot do it or does not want to do it, that we then ask the high school.
So if the elementary school does want it,
Or the junior high.
can I just, if one of the schools does want it, can I just donate it to them and get a receipt for the donation?
Yes.
Yes, that's what I move.
Okay, and then if one of the schools don't
I
want it,
second it.
okay.
All.
Okay, is there any further discussion before we go on to the seconding and, okay. The voting, obviously, we're all looking at donating versus auctioning it off. I'm in agreement that we need to have another source other than just the school.
I thought of the Boys and Girls Club, but a couple people I know said they didn't think that they would use it much. I thought of Shelter on the Hill, but I don't know if they would do it. And other than that, I've had people bring up churches, but if we give it to the Protestants, then
No,
the
no,
Baptists are going to be upset.
What about the preschool?
Lions Daycare? That's private though. That's not.
Yeah, no,
that's
I'm
not a
not a
public.
I
nonprofit.
wouldn't
That's
go
a
there.
client.
Wait,
Okay.
and
That's
She's
I'm
already
sorry,
put a
my
motion.
my motion does not address any of that. If none of them are willing, then I think we need to bring it back as part of my motion to this
Something
body and come up
Okay.
with something else. I don't want to just keep
Makes
and
sense,
I accept that friendly
Okay.
amendment.
okay.
yeah. Perfect.
All in favor?
Aye.
I
Aye. Okay, I like that.
Motion carried.
Motion carried, 401.
Move this so it doesn't sell greatly.
Okay.
Okay. Discussion and vote on using a T-Mobile hotspot for office internet.
Okay.
You got the thing in your packet too.
You know the
Yeah,
kind
because I was like.
Okay, you know the kind of issues that we've been having with the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So I found out, and I talked to the business rep at T-Mobile via email about whether or not they had internet that pulls it directly from the cellular, so they don't have to hook it up to the landline.
Right.
He said, yeah. So the pricing is, he thought that the 14 gigs would be enough for most things, other than the fact that we live stream stuff. So he thinks that we should go up to at least 18. So that'd be $80 a month. I don't believe that there's a contract involved in this. So the 14 gig one, we could split some of the internet load onto that and see how well it works. If it worked well enough, then we could get out of our contract at some point with AT&T. In the meantime, we would have a backup source of internet so we could continue business with AT&T. If we prove that it works really good, then we could just get rid of AT&T and not even have to deal with them anymore. They gave us boosters to boost the signal for free.
Who?
T-Mobile
T-Mobile.
gave us boosters to take the cellular signal and boost that. So they believe that this would work well for us. We could, like I said, try the 14 gigs a month for $65 a month. Hook up, the laptops to them, the live broadcast, and see how that works. And then the office computers could stay on AT&T right now. Then if we get in a situation where we're out of service for a couple days, we could actually, wirelessly connect to the T-Mobile.
Now, are there any security issues as far as, like, if we're going on the bank and stuff?
No more than just on AT&T. I mean, the Wi-Fi itself it's really pretty simple to track that. But when you go on the bank, you're going
Right,
through the banking
there's a
security,
secure website.
not ours. So,
Right, okay.
luckily,
They're a secure server.
supposedly.
Okay.
I have a question. What is a hotspot?
It's,
I'm
you know
You know how your dog licks it?
in your house.
those hotspots I understand.
In your house where you got your Wi-Fi modem from AT&T.
Mm-hmm.
The light up tower.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically just like that, except for instead of coming over the landline, it comes from the cellular service coming off the tower, the cell tower, and it will create internet
So
itself.
it's a wireless kind of.
It's wireless internet, yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know that it's going to work for sure, but It cost $3 a month for the equipment, $72 for the total cost for the equipment, and
$20 for the SIM card.
yeah, and then $65 a month
So it costs you $100 to set it up,
basically, and then
and
hopefully
then your payment of $65
hopefully it solves
a
our
month.
problem. And even the best, even when AT&T's working, the best upload speed is less than 1,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
to live stream you want over 1. And if I go out in the driveway, I can get 2 upload on my phone. So I'm hoping it works.
You
like
mean
that.
download?
No,
No
upload.
upload.
Download
Yeah.
is typically around 12 to 18.
Right, right.
Upload is the one that you need for any kind of attachment to your emails,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
our biggest
Streaming.
problem.
That's
from
why it takes
AT&T.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was an article in the newspaper that was kind of explaining some of that
Yeah.
today.
It's 10 to 1
Yeah,
for out there.
Director Schoenberg.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so it also says it includes 4 phones, so we would actually be upgrading, changing our
Oh, wait,
phones,
let me see.
which would be great, if that's true.
This is a separate issue that we may or may not do. I wish he wouldn't have added this on here.
Okay.
The issue is, I asked him, he gave us these free hotspots. Well, like Danny lives in a terrible area for cell. I said, what can we do for that? He goes, well, I could give you these, free phones, and then they could be the hotspot in lieu of that, in lieu of the cell booster that he thinks is going to work. I don't feel that that's going to work, because if it worked, your cell phone would work. Your cell phone has to be able to receive enough signal to be the Wi-Fi hotspot.
Correct.
So that ain't gonna work. He added this, not understanding that that is what I wanted. So it's, the quote for the internet isn't gonna be the same as to have to do with this down here. He couldn't get it. He's not from a rural area. He didn't know.
He doesn't understand all of our hills and valleys and mountains.
And before I approve this, I'm gonna have it in email exactly what we're doing, and that he could provide internet service. So if it doesn't work, we can get out of it.
Right.
Yeah,
Director Schoenberg.
I'd like to move that we go forward with this, with the exception of if there's a contract that it locks us into, because I've had boosters. I had a hotspot booster at my house that didn't work. So they don't always work because of reception either. So it may or may not. I mean, I'd like to move forward and see how it works. I just don't want to get locked into like a year or 2 years.
And just so you know, this isn't like the boosters.
Okay.
This is different than a booster. This is simply, it's just like having your cell phone. But I hotspot to that laptop off my cell phone,
Right.
out of the cellular.
Right, but my cellular doesn't always work. I mean, T-Mobile's the best up here as far as stuff working, but
Yeah, I use mine all the time. When cell phone drops, I connect the laptop to my cell phone. It's basically just having a cell phone that you could plug in our system to through the Cat5 cable.
right.
So it's a little different than a booster, because I already do it all the time on my phone. I
Well,
just
I
can't
thought
plug.
you were saying you were boosting the T-Mobile signal also in here.
But that's different, yeah. But that's right there. That was free for the booster, and I could see the difference on my phone. That's for cellular. That's not my
Right.
cellular signal would be only maybe 1 before. Now I got full bars because the booster sitting there. What we're getting is making it so it's just like my, but the booster aspect is a separate issue.
Right, what I'm saying is that the cell phones don't always work in here, but you're saying that your cell phone always works. in
Always
here.
works
Okay.
because it's T-Mobile. You don't have T-Mobile, right?
No.
Yeah, I have T-Mobile. So, and our work phones are T-Mobile, and they all work in here.
Okay.
But I won't sign a contract unless I bring it back. Just so you know.
I still leave my motion, although it's not seconded.
Where is the
Can
T-Mobile?
we second the?
On top of our tank at Wolf Tank, it's up. It's mounted to our tank. We get rent for it,
I thought that we did an AT.
but we don't.
Okay, point of order. There's a motion that hasn't been seconded on the floor, so either it dies or someone seconds it.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, 400, motion carried.
401.
401. Okay. And, discussion and vote on ideas for the column in the Mountain Enterprise.
I think we could just table this until we get the letter from the paper and there's more clarification as to even what it is.
I can't make that motion. Director Schoenberg.
Okay, I move that we table item 13 until we have more clarification from the
then
Mountain Enterprise.
And then we return to accounts payable.
Maybe we could actually
No, we don't
remove,
have to return. It's
Oh.
the next item. So
Maybe
it
I,
is.
can we change that to just remove this until, because it's taken a while for her to get it going, until we get the letter and then I'll add it back on with the letter. We'll have more definition as to what it even is.
well, I thought we sort of wanted it too. We don't want to leave it on here and just table it.
Well, I
Actually,
didn't,
once
if you
I-
remember, I didn't want
Once I
to.
call for a table,
Okay.
It'll be the.
unless I remove the table, point of order, once I call for a table, unless I remove the table, all discussion stops unless there isn't a second, in which case we continue.
I second it.
Okay, now we can do the discussion.
I'm just saying, I never wanted it at all. I think it's gonna be an extra workload. Again, my view on it is, I'm always happy, I do it all the time, I'm totally happy to answer her questions.
Yeah, but
And as far as writing a thing, I mean, one of you guys could, obviously like doing it, and I would do it if you direct me to, obviously, but the way she talked to me about it was, we would just rotate, and there would be a topic brought up, and then I could respond to the topic.
yeah, that's what I wrote and emailed her when I
Yeah.
got was Monday night when I read the agenda, and I went, I need some clarification from her, and so
I'm completely out of order. A table stops all discussion. I'm out of order.
I thought you said, oh, so
A table stops all discussion.
Yeah, but we hadn't
yeah.
voted on it. Isn't,
So yeah, I mean, I think
So can we talk about it right now or not?
No.
What are you saying?
I'm saying
confused,
when I
Tiffany.
tabled it, all the discussion should have ceased.
So how do we talk about it?
But I thought,
Well, you
Oh,
move that we
let's see.
table it, so the discussion should be, do we want to talk about the topic, or are we gonna table it? If you wanna discuss it, it wouldn't need to be tabled.
There was a second on that.
see,
I'll-
we can look it up.
I'll remove my motion to table.
Okay, all I'm saying,
Is the seconder okay
yes,
with that?
yes, I'm okay with
I
that.
love being able to get information when we have something to report. All I'm saying is I'm concerned that we don't do an interesting job.
That's why I think we need to table this for another month, because she responded and said that she would be sending out a letter to clarify
and-
to all water companies.
And all Johnny's saying is that we should just remove it and he'll put it on for the next meeting when he gets the letter from
Yeah,
Patrick.
because for a point of clarification, the reason I'm always trying to remove things off here is because we get things that stay here and they float forever. Then when we're doing an agenda and we need to know if there's something that we can add or not add, it's always a matter of, well, we've got 25 things on the agenda. Well, 5 of them haven't been addressed in months. Sometimes, not right now. I'm just saying, so
Right.
since I have the authority as general manager to add things as they needed, there's no reason to keep them on here until it's needed. When I get the letter, then I'll add it, and then we could take it from there.
I move that we remove the discussion, vote on ideas for a column in the Mountain Enterprise, and that it will be put back on the agenda when Johnny receives a letter from
Yeah.
Patrick so we could discuss it further. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
And we have to wait for Lisa,
Yes,
and I might have to repeat it again.
but you did it very well.
You did. Practice.
Lisa,
What?
I moved that we remove the vote on ideas for a column in the Mountain Enterprise until we receive the letter from Patrick, at which time Johnny will put it back on the agenda. And Becky seconded that motion.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion carried. 401. Okay, on to number 8, accounts payable and financial information.
Okay. Our balances total $1,013,802.
13. Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
With the revenue at 188,157.99.
Okay.
And our payables were pretty much what we always have. There's two things that I wanted to bring to your attention. One of them had to be with USB, the Blue Book, USA Blue Book. That invoice is actually stemming from 2016. We had a balance with them for so long that when we finally got another invoice from them, it showed a balance due, and I had been checking with them. I've been working on it since late December, early January, saying, hey, where's this balance due? Because I'm showing all the invoices are paid. And so after going back and forth, and finally I said, okay, give us an accounting from 2015. We should be able to know where our differences are. And we found that there was this invoice that was actually dated in August 2016 that we never received. So we finally got it, and that's included. It's only $144, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention. The other thing we've got our first invoice towards the telemetry, which it was just about $3,000. $3,000 minus a few cents.
Object here real quick.
Sure.
That's what I was gonna say earlier. Linda's gonna keep a spreadsheet, keep track of the project that you guys approved for the upgrade, and then she'll have you guys be doing transfers from the appropriate account after we pay.
After we paid the bill.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, I have a question. Did we set up an amount to transfer? Were we supposed to set up an amount, a regular monthly transfer to the emergency reserve account?
Now remember, we had discussed that we would do that twice a year.
So in October, then we'll revisit it again and then make the transfer of that amount of money.
Right. So what we did was based after the October payment, just took.
Okay. Okay. Just wanted to be clear.
Director Schoenberg.
A couple of things. Why did we call the receivable for restitution receivable? I don't remember why we called it that.
That is the money that we're getting the guy that did damage on the property, and so he's paying
J-Rock.
us.
His name was
Court
J
order
Rock.
payment.
So is that always gonna be restitution receivable?
Yeah.
Unless somebody else does something that has to, because he only pays occasionally when he has to. He pays a little amount. I don't even know how much is owed.
For a
still.
while, he was paying $50 a month, and then all of a sudden that being paid.
What is this? What is this about?
Somebody went up to Wolf Tank before I worked here. It's been a long time.
Okay.
And they painted their name on the tank.
Oh, okay.
And if I had it my way, we would just negate even what he owes us, because it turns out, from what I hear, he didn't even do it. Plus a bunch of other people did it, and we still never even painted the tank originally. But probation is having him pay whatever the restitution is on that thing.
Court sends us
They
a
send
check.
it to us.
Okay. All right, that's clear.
It's really an
It
unjust-
was painted once.
No, it was never painted after the J-Rock thing. It's still on there to this day, along with about 20 other people.
We paid to have it painted.
Not, I was here, and if you did,
No, before you were here.
then they never painted it. I bet you paid to have them paint McGee. McGee got a paint job
No,
because it don't match.
Wolf.
Well,
Wolf was the only one that got tagged. McGee didn't get tagged, did it?
when they painted part of the tank, so I'm assuming you got tagged at some point. But Wolf Tank has never been painted,
Wolf
And-
tag is the one that
and
we
there's tagging all
were
over it.
supposed to be painted. And we were also talking about putting a fence up to keep it from being tagged.
Oh, yeah, we've been talking about that for a long time for a multitude of reasons, but we haven't done it yet.
I don't think a fence is gonna stop the tank.
It helps.
Okay. Any other questions?
Oh, I do have a question.
Yes.
Journal entries. Okay. When you show accounts receivable, oh, that's accounts receivable is 100. Isn't that, what's the accounts receivable? Yeah. Oh, that's just, yeah, I'm confused. Go ahead.
And then the other thing I thought we were gonna have under accounts receivable, I thought there was supposed to be a category for a separate category for the funds that are, and is that called undeposited funds now? Is that what that category is? Because I thought there was supposed to be a separate category for the funds, for instance, if someone's paying $8,000 to have a service connected.
There are two parts to that. There's the part of the $200 which gets posted.
Under prepaid deposits.
Right,
I
that
see.
gets paid through RVS.
We pay through RBS though. We don't put,
No,
we get the $200
The
deposit, but we don't
yeah.
create an account through RBS until they pay the total amount and we install the meter. Then it would be in RBS, I believe. We could start it off
that's
that way.
correct. That,
Okay, so 12012 is after they've paid off the full amount. That's where that's gonna go now? Prepaid deposits
correct.
and undeposited.
Positive funds. Are you looking at? Let's see what you're
I don't
looking
know.
at,
Balance
so I
sheet?
can make
Look
sure
at the
that
balance
I'm on the
sheet.
same.
Oh, sounds like
Is
it's
two.
the wrong spot.
Okay, undeposited fund is 0. We don't have undeposited funds, but you guys had asked me to include all the 0 accounts to make sure nothing was missing. So undeposited funds is not an account that we use here. Now, what that account is for is if we were to do our accounting all on QuickBooks and we would never use RBS, and let's say we got 20 checks in one day, we would post those checks and we put all those into undeposited funds, but we make one deposit, so then we're showing what into the checking account. So it's not an account we use here, but because you've asked me to show all the accounts, and it's an account that I cannot delete because it's there. That's why you see a 0 balance there. We never use it. It's just an operational type account.
I'm confused.
It was an account that I used to hide because it's not one we use.
I was waiting for we.
Okay, yeah, I need to solve this because I need to figure out where stuff is being listed that we had asked to be listed in a specific way. because I'm not sure that that's
Well,
listed.
Yeah, and I don't know about that, but I do notice on the back of on page 2 of the journal, we got it broke down for adjustments and stuff. A lot.
Yeah, that's all the coding on the
Yeah.
RVS report, and that's based on what was recommended by
Yeah.
the auditors. So now you can see the breakdown
Yeah,
of where we're putting each one.
Washies plan?
Where's it at?
That's the one. ADP retirement plan is the 401k that you guys don't contribute to, but you guys paid the setup.
Oh, that's for the
That's for
401k.
the 401k.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I was like, there's we're off in return.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the processing, our fees on that.
Okay, so I'm confused. Give me a minute. So where it isn't fixed is under the profit and loss statement. I mean, somewhere we talked about specifically about placing, and I thought that was the balance sheet for current assets. About putting in the information in regard to, I mean, it should also show up under the it should show up under the profit and loss,
Well,
but it's what we talked about with where we put specific items. So I still see late fees and other adjustments, which I had changed.
yeah, if you look at the spreadsheet that I have with the journal entries, then you can see where all those items are going. And again, this was per the auditor's recommendation and what codes are under what section. They're the ones that told us to do it this way, okay? So you'll see it there.
I believe we're missing still though.
What are we?
I mean, okay, so there should be residential water sales, business water sales, bulk water sales,
Right.
late fees, which is correct, reconnection fees. But what about new connections? Where the heck is new connections? Where the heck is the, okay, I know that we did the deposit as a separate spot because it sits in RVS and we're not actually putting the new connections in, but where is the category for new connections?
The new connections, see if I can remember where we have those. I can look it up because I know what the figures are.
But I
that will
don't, yeah, I
refresh
don't
my memory
see
where
it.
we have it.
And
Now, here's another issue, and I thought we would have the accountants copied back by now from the auditor. Until I get the accounts copied back, there's certain accounts that aren't showing up yet, and I can't adjust them yet because they have the accounts for that period of time. So once we get that back, a lot of that will show up with the next one, and I'm thinking we'll get that, since they're coming in March, that we'll get the accounts copied, within a week after.
Yeah, they did say they would make those journal adjustments and stuff like
Right.
that to fix all those things.
so we never got any of it.
Yeah,
Well, we should have gotten it a long time ago because we've been When did we talk to them about that? Months
It was
ago.
back in November.
Yeah.
I thought we did get an email from them saying.
We did.
We did, but
We
the
did.
journal, they're
it
doing the
recommended-
journal, they're doing the journal entries and they're not giving us that until they present the final audit report, which my understanding, they're gonna do that in March.
Yeah.
But I thought it wasn't just adjusting journal entries, it was the actual, that it would show on the actual.
He did say we paid to have them go back and.
And I thought
Make
they
changes
gave
to
us
the corrections.
recommendations for that.
They
already.
did give
I
us
thought they did too.
recommendations, and that's what the spreadsheet is based on, their recommendations.
Okay, the spreadsheet is, but it still doesn't show in our actual, because it's not journal entries that I'm not worried about adjustments. I want it to be under, and that was what we were talking about, under our actual,
Budget.
not budget, but the actual assets that we track. I mean, there should be a place
item.
for a line item for
Well,
this
anything
stuff that
that's-
should have already been occurring, and it was one of the issues that we had, and now it's going to continue being an issue because if we do get anything paid in that category, it wasn't showing up. So that's definitely still a
Well, it
problem.
says new connection fees on
Where?
page 1 of profit and loss, budget versus actual.
Are you looking at the
What
front
number
page?
is it? Cause I'm not seeing it.
It's,
Okay, so it got fixed on the budget versus the actual, but it didn't get fixed on anything else.
Where is it on the budget versus?
It's number 40013, new connection fees.
I don't even see 40013.
It's on page 1. It's like towards the back of the balance sheet where it says profit and loss budget versus actual. So it doesn't show up on our profit and loss year to date, which is a real problem, but it does show up on our profit versus actual. So this is where these things were supposed to get fixed,
Yeah, but this is
but
part
it's
of.
supposed to be on everything. It's supposed to be on our
So show
year
me
to
again where it's
dates
at.
also.
I'm not seeing it.
So here's
New
new
connection.
connections,
I see
but
it.
it doesn't show up here. So when we look at our profit and loss, it doesn't
Oh,
come
okay, I see
up
it
each
now.
time. So
And-
there's no zero, or if there was something,
And it
it's
doesn't.
not.
And it doesn't show the new connection that was paid.
Yes, that's my problem.
We had that.
That's my problem exactly.
It says zero balance, but I know we had one.
We had yes.
Again, I think I'll check
And that's
further,
what was
but
happening
again, I
last year.
believe that has to do with them still having the accountant's copy, but I will
But
follow
but
up
it's
on
fixed
that.
on this profit and loss for January.
But it's a zero balance, it's showing as a zero
I mean, not
balance.
profit and loss, but which it
So-
shouldn't be showing a zero balance, but it's what I'm saying is great. You fixed it on one page, which is profit and loss versus actual, but it's not on any of the year-to-date profit and loss, nor is it on the monthly profit
And
loss.
that's, again, because it's in one area, it's all part of the
But
same
this-
system, the reports are coming to the same entry. So I have to figure out why is it showing on one report and not the other. Again, I believe it's because the accountant's copy is still out. Once we get the accountant's copy, it should
But how
rectify it.
can I know when something was paid? Because that got paid in January, right?
I don't know when it got paid.
I thought it was before then.
Was it
I thought it was
before
before
January?
January too. I thought it was.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
in
November, December or
Yeah,
something.
November, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
well then it wouldn't show up under January, but the column, it would still be nice if it showed up, but I
Yeah,
can see
so
that.
I will check into that and be able to answer that for you.
Okay.
I don't know why they shouldn't be able to send us the.
So, can I ask a question, Linda? Just so I understand. So we have the budget. We have the actual. This is actual to budget. So that's a month to month budget, or
Well, what happens, this is comparing for year to date,
Year
or
to date.
fiscal year to date.
okay.
So fiscal, comparing apples and oranges. If I put had the budget showing an annual figure, you're not real, you're kind of seeing where you are from the year to date, but you're not,
But
this is giving you a better comparison.
right. So this is from. So the
The
this
July 1 through January 31st.
It should normally go from July
right.
through the following June, right? So it's only going till the 18th of till
So is
January
that showing that we
18 right
made
now.
more income than what
Yeah,
we
but
budgeted?
there's something. There's stuff. This is not. There's something wrong with this. Yes, it's showing right now our budget, but I need to pull up our budget on in principle, but hadn't approved completely.
We hadn't finalized it because we were waiting for the audit report. But then I was told that you guys approved it, I think in January.
Yeah, theoretically.
Right. And that we would make any necessary changes once we got the audit report and got their final figures.
So one of two things: either we're grossly off on our budget, which I thought we hashed that out in February, but this is showing that already year to date we're 116,000 over, which doesn't seem to make sense to me.
Means that we made more money.
Well, I will tell you that one of the things that I've noticed, and I've
Means we
noticed
need to
this with a
revisit the
couple of the
budget.
other governmental agencies that I've worked with, that homes are going up, and in the other district that I just came from meetings, we had a huge increase for even our very small amount of monies we get from that for that agency.
But so I'm questioning if that says 0, if everything else is correct.
I just need to. I know that the income figures are correct because those tie into the RVS system, and I've been able to even show you that. That's why I started doing the spreadsheet, so you can see where these numbers tie in to the RVS report, the systems report, that you can find out why is that not showing up when it's posted. And again, I think it has to do with the accountant's copy not being back, and some of the there's certain changes we want to make that aren't reflected yet because I can't go back and do that while the accountant's copy is out. The system won't allow me to do that.
Director Schomburg.
I think we need to pull the accountants back up. I think we need to sit and look at this in depth first. And then I think we probably need to pull the accountants back up here, because I could swear that also like late fees and other adjustments, that column got changed. I need to go back through our minutes, I guess, because I'm remembering things that aren't reflected here at all. And I've really got a problem if we're waiting for them month after month that none of this is being, or not none of it, but sections of this are not being reflected accurately yet once again, which I have issues with.
Okay, the spreadsheet here, this is based on the information we got from the accounts of where to put what and on what category. That's why I started doing this, so that you guys could actually see it.
And again, I just want to point out again that the new deposits still are not, if everything is reflective of RVS, then the new service connections are not in RVS. They're deposited separately in an account, and that's what we need to track, because
I need to make sure.
RVS does not know anything until we create an account.
Right.
And if we don't go in and put the new connection fee, which we never have to my knowledge, because it's after the fact. It's not, we create the account, then it starts as a new account. We don't put in there the new connection fee because that's done beforehand.
Right, which was an issue.
Yeah.
So we were gonna,
So
that
I need
was
to-
gonna get entered, and they had a way to enter it, and
And we could do it as an adjustment,
Well, I'll look
but we
and
still
see.
should be tracking the deposits.
Right.
on
The
here.
Deposits normally,
They have no bearing on the RVS because
and the
deposits are
deposits would
separate.
normally go into prepaid deposits, and right now that's showing as 0.
And it's just, well, yeah, and I would like it in a separate category than prepaid deposits because it's a new connection fee, which should be
Right,
tracked
prepaid
separately.
deposit-
It's just like when we make a deposit for T-Mobile, leasing our tank or whatever, that never goes through RBS at all, but it's tracked separately back here in this office.
And prepaid deposits would be like the $200.
Or it would be
The
more like
prepaid
it would be more
deposits-
like the deposits for bulk water when we take a deposit
Or yeah.
to mount the meter and stuff,
Except that we-
and that's a deposit that we give back.
But I thought they said deposits that we give
Okay.
back wouldn't be tracked. Would be
Anyway, because they wash themselves out.
right.
Okay,
They'd be tracked
deposits
as a
from
bad a loss.
customers are on under the liability, and they are showing up. It's under 21020.
What page?
It's page 3.
What?
And they told us to call it customer deposit payable.
$16,600.
And when it's finalized, then it comes out of there and goes into the new connection. But that's where they had us put that.
So it's being tracked as far as that goes.
But once it's the full 8,000, isn't it an account?
Then we can create the account in the system, whether we turn it on or we don't, then it's a locked off account. So yeah,
So is the issue that Linda isn't then taking that money
well,
out of here
It could
because
be
they
that,
haven't shown
or-
us a way of doing that?
or
Go to the
we didn't, on those accounts, we didn't go in and do an adjustment and say they paid $8,000 for that account, because with RBS, we don't know how to, an adjustment is either gonna add money or take money. If we put an adjustment for a new connection, $8,000, it's gonna show a positive balance of $8,000 in that account. So that don't work. If RBS all adjustments are either taking something away or adding something, and it's not doing either because they paid for the account, it's set up, and now their account starts. So I suppose we could pay RBS to create an adjustment that doesn't do either. It just shows in the record that the deposit was made, but our bylaws show that to get an account, you have to pay $8,000. So in that regard, it's already adjusted. We just have to keep track of it so we know.
So once I know that that account's actually been set up, it stays in as a customer prepaid
Then you could
deposit.
take that out and put it in the new connection fee.
Correct.
But you're never gonna see that from RBS is my point, so.
Right,
we
that's
would-
true.
We would just have to track down which ones these are and verify that they were installed and the account was created, and then you can move them.
Correct, and the only way I would know that information if that is communicated to us that has been done.
Yeah, and if the deposit, see, because you get the deposit
Right,
slip, we gotta make sure that that designates the address that it was deposited.
Right.
All you have to do is look at that, and then you ask me, and I'll tell you, or ask Cassandra, and we'll tell you if the account was created already.
so hard to track
Which I suspect
us.
that it has. I think that some of this might be the $200 will serves that nobody ever did anything with. But even then, after 6 months, we that $200 and move it somewhere else, because now it's ours, and they didn't follow through with their will serve letter.
Which is why it was supposed to go in that deposit payable, because it's just the
Okay.
deposit payable was just the will serve. So I'm a little confused. I need to go back and or we need to talk to the accountants again.
So I want to ask another stupid question.
nothing stupid.
So you have the actual. So this actual is through
January 31st.
January 31st. Okay. Now the figure showing in the budget, that's not the total year's budget. That's so it's what it does is it takes how do you determine
Well, it
That-
depends on the account, but most accounts I take the full year's budget and divide it by 12
12,
months.
okay,
But there's certain accounts that I don't do that. For instance, the interest payments. We
right,
know when we make those payments, so you'll only see those
okay,
in October and April.
okay,
So it just depends on the account and
All
what's
right.
going in that account. But most of them, the budget amount's divided over 12 months.
okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I was just curious, because I'm just kind of perusing how we're doing as far as actual to
No, I
budget,
love
what
that
we're
you guys are-
spending and, you know.
Yeah, I love that you guys are asking these questions, and it gives better understanding for you, and it also gives me better understanding of where you're coming from, so I can make sure I'm giving reports that are useful to you.
Okay. I'm good.
So,
And did we resolve?
And then-
No, we haven't talked about this yet.
in the
Um,
customer deposit payable, if that's the will serves, what account would that be moved into?
It'd be probably, if
New
the
connections.
connection was finalized, it would go into new connections.
Which is why I'm confused, because if you're looking at the whole year, and I thought that we already actually made a new connection on one of those, didn't we?
We have.
Yeah, so I
We've
was trying
installed-
to figure out why it wasn't there.
Yeah, well, now we know that it's in the deposit, so we just know there wasn't the
Okay.
follow-up
Okay.
saying it was installed.
Okay, Linda, we have an issue, that we need to resolve, the Young and Woolbridge. This particular one, is Lake of the Woods, for the transfer agreement.
There's
And
two invoices in.
two invoices that were
Excellent.
ours, but this one says copy. This one, Self-Help Enterprises have been paying the invoices for anything to do with pre-planning.
Can,
We're
So we
planning.
because I was asking about that
Actually,
earlier
planning.
today.
Okay, yeah.
As to,
This particular one, see, it's been sent to Carlos, and they have been paying it out of their,
Okay, see, there was nothing on here.
Yeah.
That, there, even in the description, it doesn't
Yeah,
say anything.
you shouldn't have received that.
Yeah.
Either me or Tiffany, we didn't hold that out. And it's
so
probably
we
because it
need,
came
so we
with the
need to
other
take
one.
this out and redo this check.
Okay,
So that, this amount has to come out of there.
okay. Well, we just got this today, so I can do that with the next check run.
Okay.
And we'll take that
And
one
these
out
other
and
ones
put
aren't
it in
gonna be
with the
late,
other.
or?
I'm sorry, what? No, none of them are late. They're
Yeah,
all
Woolbridge
current.
ain't gonna.
So you're just gonna void it then?
Yeah, I'll void it, and then we'll,
Okay.
with the next check run, I'll include them.
There you go. Okay, great.
Let me do this right now.
So,
And you had one more question about the two bills for the internet and the phones going to a different PO box because there's no.
oh yeah,
subtitles in it.
and so I was a little confused here. Okay, this one, I changed it to 25 because this one says PO Box 5025.
Okay,
So
When they changed the invoices, because they changed the format of the invoice, they must have changed the address, and I
Okay.
didn't notice
and
it.
then this one, I just assumed that it's correct because I
For
don't.
some reason, this one did not have the payment on with it.
Yeah, I didn't see it in
Which
there.
is,
That's why I
it's
was.
the first time I've ever seen it where it didn't have a payment.
I was
coupon with
wondering
it.
if it
Okay.
one was for phone and one is for internet, right?
Yeah,
Well,
one was for
Maybe they go
internet.
to two different PO boxes.
Well, not before. Before
Oh.
they always went to the same. If you notice, they changed the internet
Yeah, I know, I
formatting, and
And
that's probably when they changed the
And
address
this,
too, and I didn't notice
you
it.
made should be 803, not 863.
Okay, I'll check that. That's weird, because they've already gotten it.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
it's wrong. You must have it wrong in the system
I'll
because
double check it.
because here I'll show you. Where's our? In fact, let me just give you it so you can
I'll make a note of
make
it.
a note of it. Let me find it here. See, so you see here it says it's 803, and on the check it came 863.
Okay, so I'll check that.
Well, we can't send a check unless there's a coupon or something.
Well, some of them don't have coupons.
Not
So,
everybody
but
has
but you have to
coupons.
make sure it's correct on the check if you're putting it at a double window.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So if that one doesn't have a coupon, then
I wrote the account number on it, on the check, so that they would know what account number it
So
goes to.
I move that we.
I have one more question before you move
Okay.
to pay our bills, so don't sign because we haven't actually moved that yet.
Director Schomburg.
I just have a question. It's a really dumb question about the toilet that's on one of the bills for. Is that to replace this first
The men's bathroom.
the men's? Because the women's has issues and it's also leaking now. But that's
Well, I
just
replaced the men's because it was so messed up that no amount of money we've thrown at it replacing the flush valve would get it to flush without 10 flushes.
right, which is what the other ones.
So I
that used to be
replaced
the women's.
the toilet and the flush valve, and I was not aware that there was an issue in the women's.
Oh,
Well,
I mean,
now,
it's just no longer the women's.
now they're gender neutral, but
the first bathroom closest to this room also has issues. Just that's why I was wondering where
what's it been
went.
doing? Not flushing, or
It doesn't.
The women's?
You have to
It
flush
doesn't-
it multiple
Yeah,
times,
clear everything. So
and it's now
like
leaking
2
from the
times.
stem, the metal
Well,
stem. So
I'll,
that's
I'll,
all
I'll
I'm
work on
wondering.
that too because they're well past due for replacement.
Okay.
And I'm not happy with the one that is in the men's either, although it works way better. But there'll be a different style in the women's. Well, the second bathroom.
Okay,
the west
that was just a
bathroom.
dumb question.
Okay,
So
I make a
that-
motion that we pay our bills.
I'll second that motion
All in favor?
with the corrections that you stated. Are you paying it with the corrections as stated?
Yes, with the
So,
corrections
and
as
holding
stated.
off the bill for.
And we're holding off the
Young
bill for Young and
Woodridge.
Woodridge.
Okay, I'll second that motion then.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 401. Let's pay our bills.
So Johnny, next frequent account,
Okay.
I'll get to you on the deposits.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. Discussion and vote on banking issues.
Yeah,
Moving,
So I need to figure out a way so those don't, where I know that I need to follow up on those.
moving funds to another bank and our current banking issues.
Yeah, we haven't really looked into that, but I think, maybe me and Lisa need to get together to decide, where we would want to, where we want to put, because my thing is I would like to move one account. I personally would like to move, maybe like the contingency fund, or 285,000, because we don't ever touch that. It doesn't ever matter. We're not really earning any interest, and I'd like to see it be someplace where we the federal coverage.
Which is
In
only
case-
250, correct?
Yeah, it's like it's like 250.
So we probably should move an account that's less than 250.
But even if we did that, the thing about it is, Lisa, if for example this bank went bankrupt, we're only going to be covered for $250,000, and yes, there'll be a whole process of them taking their assets, and we may be further on maybe receiving something when it's all said and done, but I still feel uncomfortable about having all our money in one bank, because I think we should spread it and at least have at least one other account someplace else that we get a $250,000 coverage
so you're
from
gonna
the
do the
federal.
research for that?
Yeah, but I think to do that, do we need to be an ad hoc? Are we just gonna do it? We haven't finished our other stuff we're supposed to do. I agree, and I also think that if we're gonna do that, that we should do it probably with something that's a money market account right now, like one of our reserves. That's like a lesser, because we're earning almost zero on those things, even as a money market account. Whereas if we put it in something, there's online banks that are totally safe. you're not losing any of your principal or interest, but it's gonna earn more than we're earning here.
Well, the thing is, we just need to make sure that it's federally insured.
Federally
And
insured,
that's the
stuff
main
like,
thing.
like,
Well,
I know
mutual
right
funds
now
are
this,
insured by SPIC.
I don't believe we would do mutual funds, we would do something like a
Money,
CD.
a CD
That's
or
a,
something.
that's a safe money market. It's not going to earn tons. I don't think that we should be doing anything like a mutual fund.
Yeah,
with,
we're
with
not looking to.
the town's money.
Right.
But I know for a fact that there are accounts like even Barclays I looked at the other day, which is like earning, I don't know, it's something like 1.8, which is not much, but it's far more than we're getting on.
Then the
0.001.
0.2.
Right. And it's a safe account, it's covered, it's FDIC insured,
Two?
so why couldn't we, anyway,
And then
I would
give it
like
to
to
her.
look into it, but I think if we do that, or
And
we
That's-
we can't vote on an ad hoc today because there aren't enough.
Right.
Correct.
I think we should do an ad hoc and we research it. But like I said, we'll have to wait till the next meeting. I mean, this isn't an immediate thing, but I'm just concerned as a director as for the you know the
Is
way
that the
she.
account that we borrowed money from for the trucks and then we paid it back?
That's the general fund.
That was the general fund. I mean, we could either do the general or the contingency, but one of them, we have two accounts. One's 219,000,
Each year.
the other one's 285,000. So
I would anticipate when we get the final quotes for the dump truck, we'd be borrowing the money again for the dump truck.
Let's talk about an ad hoc committee at the next meeting.
yeah,
Yeah, February, yeah. But I would also like to see that, I mean, I don't know, it's gotta be something that we don't move money from, in and out of.
Right.
Signature. Jerry.
Well, you could also track that because we would just have to put it on our resolution. It would state the other bank. It would still state who can transfer it. It would still have to be shown on all of our
Yeah,
stuff. So that
But if you're banking within the same bank, it's
We need
easier to move
signatures.
money from account to account.
signatures.
You can still do that,
I do it all the time.
You can
I have-
transfer from one bank to another without.
yeah, I have multiple banks that I use, and I transfer money all the time because I never have money from. I always have to transfer money from where my money comes in to another bank, where I actually
Also,
pay
Linda,
my bills.
I'm gonna check my W-2 because Lisa, because I was thinking that we got more. The W-2 that you gave me says I own.
You mean
The
the 1099?
I mean the 1099 that we only got. Mine said 2,400, and I know I did a few ad hoc committees, so it might have been should have been higher, but maybe it isn't. I mean, I'll pull out.
Cause
Did you put in
I
for
actually
the
did a
ad hocs?
report off QuickBooks, so let me check that and see what happened. Again, I'll just check and see what happened, so I have an answer.
Yeah,
for
I'm
you.
not saying it's wrong. I'm gonna go look at because I have all my stubs.
Yeah.
It just seems like I should have had a little bit more because I know I did a few ad hocs and we had a couple extra meetings. So it seems like it should have been for the year.
At 2 meetings
been at
a
least-
month,
Yeah.
it should be
Be
2,400. And if you add a couple of ad hocs to that, it should be more than 2,400.
Right.
So
Right.
I mean, it's not like
And
considerably
that's if
more.
you came to every meeting.
Right.
Yeah, well,
I only missed one
Yeah,
meeting.
but
I,
that's a good point, so let
so
me,
I think I might be wrong.
so I will
Oh,
check
wow.
and see.
Mine, I
what-
think, said 1,900. I started last December.
Well, that's
Oh, okay.
December.
but I'll check it out
Well,
and
the December
I'll check
before.
it out.
Before, yeah.
yeah, I
What
need to-
happens with QuickBooks is
a third-
a
second.
report comes up, it's a
Two
1099
signatures.
report. So the reason I was able to use the QuickBooks software rather than buying the software. So I will have to check and see why. I'll check and see if it's correct or not. If it's not correct, then I have to figure out why QuickBooks brought up the wrong amount.
together.
Well, you haven't really been on ad hoc, so yours probably would be correct because you've also missed a couple of meetings. So
I've
that
missed
sounds
2.
about right.
Well,
We're
no.
close.
Yeah. Well, you could check your. I mean,
Yeah.
I have all my
My
stubs,
stubs, I
so
do
I'm
too.
I'm gonna check them when
Yeah.
I get home, you know, I'll give you a call,
I'm
Linda.
gonna write it down too to check it out.
I just wanna make sure it's right, cause I don't wanna,
Yeah, because I know that you did them kind of in a hurry that day.
Actually, no, I'd already had it done, I just didn't have them printed. I was waiting for the forms, I had to go buy new forms because I ran out.
You could also double it to check the attendance. But it
But it
lists
doesn't
all
have
the
ad
meetings.
hocs.
Not ad hocs, but like for her, she
Right.
could at least pull up just the meetings and count how many there were.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that we had.
And what I'll do is
Yeah, last year we
I'll
had,
give you
like-
each a report for all your checks that you, director checks that you received,
Okay.
and you'll be able to compare.
So
Yeah.
we actually messed up though, because once again, point of order.
I'm sorry,
item
yeah.
8.
I forgot we were done with,
Yes. Okay.
And I'm tired of
So,
not
okay.
catching it all.
On item 14, we're gonna make an ad hoc, right? So we can't do that because.
Correct.
Okay, so are we tabling this?
Yes.
Okay.
until
I
the next.
move that we table 14 until the next regular meeting. Well, maybe we should do it before then. I move that we table 14 to the next,
Next meeting.
Yes.
Next meeting in February.
Yes.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
400. 401.
Now, the 1099 miscellaneouses have not been mailed to the IRS yet. I don't need to mail them until the end of this month. And the reason why they do that, in case there are corrections that need to be made, so, we'll take care of that and if.
So we'll
there's
bring
corrections-
In
you
order
back
to
if they're
discuss
wrong.
this, we need to go back to that line item.
Okay. Now I need to approve.
Can we go back and
You wanna
just
go back
revisit that so it's
to,
on the
The
minutes?
1099s,
Yes.
number 8,
Yes.
okay. Go back.
So basically, if we find out it's incorrect, we'll bring ours back to you and you can just correct
Well,
it.
actually, you keep that, and then I give you one that's called a corrected one. It's the same one
Oh.
that the corrected box
Oh,
will be
okay.
marked
Okay,
with the correct amount.
all right.
So I gotta figure, if it is incorrect, I gotta figure out why the system.
Yeah.
I might have to go in and code something that didn't get coded if it's wrong, so.
I'm gonna go back and pay somebody
Hopefully not.
for January 11th, 18, and January 25th, 18. So, we've got the minutes. Director Schoenberg.
I'd like to move that we approve the minutes for January 11th, 2018, with the possibility for additional amendments for typos or other errors that may need to be corrected that may need to be found after the fact.
I did find one.
You did? Oh. I
It
didn't
was the
find
only one I
anything.
found.
January
For January 11th?
January
11th.
Where is that?
Number 4, below Vice President, the line Secretary. Director Schoenberg reported she still needs to get together with Director Nyman and take the most recent resolution to the bank in order fix accounts. Should have a 2 in there.
Where is that? Page what?
Under Secretary.
Page 1,
Under Secretary.
bottom
Page
third of the page.
1.
Tiffany, thank you. My
First
family's gonna be very happy. You know, when I got home, they asked me, where are the cookies?
They're all
Oh yeah, I missed that
Oh,
too.
you're lucky I didn't break into them.
she's got her supply.
Okay, so I take that back. Is that the only one you found? I didn't find
That's
anything.
the only one I found.
Okay, did you get that, Tiffany? Okay, so let me try that again. I move that we approve the minutes for January 11th, 2018 with the amendment mentioned and the possibility for additional amendments for typos or other errors that may need to be corrected.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 You go, girl.
Okay. Minutes for Director Schoenberg.
I move that we approve the minutes for January 25th, 2018, with the possibility for additional amendments for typos or other errors that may need to be corrected.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
400.
Excellent
Or
job,
401.
Tiffany.
Thing. Other than reverting back to Old English for some reason.
Oftentimes.
I quite liked that.
Need to
Take a break?
add,
No.
no, do we need to add anything to the future agenda items?
Just the stuff we've already stated, which, right?
Nothing new, nothing old. Okay. I will accept a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
We need to state the time.
Yes.
Alright.